Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Greetings and welcome to another fabulous episode here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is Ahead for Business. We have a backstage that is full, so I want to get right into it and what our topic's about. Before we do that, I'm going to bring up the mastermind, the genius who created this actual program. He gets all the credit. His name is Mr. CINI. He is a dear friend and mentor, and so much more. Let's bring him out and find out what he's been up to. Hello, Al. How are you?
Dr. KERBECK, it's great to see you. And we have a great guest today. His name is Ren Cicalese, and he has been my accountant since MCMLXXX.
Well, anyone that can work with you over all those digits and dots, it says a lot. No, you're fantastic. And by the way, I do want to say that you are also the co-founder of Profit for Teams, which we'll get into a little bit later. But we actually have the other co-founder who is with us today, Lisa MANYOKY, and she is also no stranger to our platform. She and I have done many shows together over the years. And of course, the three of us met at another establishment many years ago in television, and we'll get into that sometime much later. Let's bring up Lisa MANYOKY. Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi. The gang's all here.
Yes, it feels like a reunion, and it is.
It's great. It's always good to see you, Lisa. And as you mentioned, Dr. JACALYN, we worked together on Profit for Teams, and in fact, almost about a year ago, we delivered a Profit for Teams workshop for Ren.
Tell us a little bit more before we bring him out.
Well, I thought it went really well. I mean, Ren might have a second opinion to offer, but I thought it went great. And the whole idea really for today's program came around the introduction that we had in that experience to the teams that make up the accounting firm that Ren runs, Alloy, Silverstein, and Shapiro. And his way of developing business on the talent of the teams that work for his firm is very unique and very innovative, and I can't wait to learn more about it from him.
Fantastic. We're going to bring Ren out in just a second. I want to share with people that the nugget takeaway of watching this program or any of our episodes here on Ahead for Business is the question that we ponder: what were they thinking? So without further ado, let's bring Ren onto the program. Welcome, sir. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me today.
Ren,
why don't you tell us a little bit about the work that you do and who you support?
Okay, we handle we're a financial services firm. We have a few different companies. We have the accounting firm that's been around for about 64 years, Alloy Silverstein. We have a financial services firm that's been around for 26 years, and a payroll company, Alloy Silverstein Financial Services and Abacus Payroll. And just recently, we started a marketing firm, social media firm, Alloy Edge. And we're a full-service accounting firm, and we handle most businesses in the Philadelphia region, and we have clients throughout the country at this point, post-COVID.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
That's exactly where I'd love to jump off from, because Ren has a gift for recognizing talent in the people that work in his firm. And he translates that gift into organizational changes that he makes where he actualizes those teams to become independent business units. And what were you thinking, Ren? I mean, when that occurs to you, what is it about that speaks to you and makes you a happy person?
So I think I'm just self-driven more than anything else. I am almost 70, and I just keep doing things over and over just to motivate myself and make sure I'm accountable for myself, which is a little different, I think.
Yeah, but you bring other people into the fold. I mean, you have a kind of an outreach way of running the firm that I think is really unique. You don't want to be just an accounting firm.
Well, what we are is where I've seen over the years people make business decisions that are wrong is you have successful business people that run a car dealership, but they go to a restaurant and they think the restaurant is really busy. And they say, hey, at dinner, somebody should buy a restaurant. And they get outside of their lane and go into a business that they don't have any knowledge of or how to run it. And they lose a lot of money in that business. And I see that all the time. So what I think you need to do is stay within your guardrails or stay within your lanes. So all the businesses that we've handled, we are doing that, and we've historically have done that. We've just recaptured revenue streams that maybe in the 80s or 90s, we decided that we shouldn't be doing it. But then as the century turned and new technologies came out, we were able to do those businesses with technology and make a profit on them. So most of my businesses are related to what I'll say originally was part of a CPA firm that we got away from, and now we've recaptured the revenue stream down the line.
Thank you, Ren. I know we're going to be talking a little bit about creative accounting. Can you shed some light on that? Because I have certain ideas myself of what that could mean. So what does it mean to you, Ren? And then we'll go around.
I think creative accounting is just taking advantage of the tax laws, or basically what happens is when you do an interpretation of what the tax laws are, there's black and white and gray, and what you need to do is take advantage of the gray. Black and white, it's just simple. It's either yes or no. But what happens is people have a tendency to think of the piece of paper that they get when they file their tax return as a work product. But there's a lot of things that go into that work product or that piece of paper. That's something that our industry or the AICPA has really dropped the ball on. It's the knowledge that we possess by doing CPE, doing our graduate school courses, doing studying for the CPA exam. We spend a lot of time and effort in educating ourselves. And what happens is people think it's just a piece of paper, you're putting numbers in the boxes. But it's to make sure that you know what boxes to put on it. We see all the time where somebody will go after the low-cost provider, and the low-cost provider really screws things up because all they're doing is putting numbers in the boxes and don't interpret the numbers. If somebody goes to the low-cost provider, they may be taking whatever they have in QuickBooks, putting it on a tax return and not really worrying about it. But we see it all the time when somebody comes to us, we review the work of other firms, there's a lot of mistakes, and it costs the taxpayer more money in taxes and tax liability. The horror stories that I can tell you, I could fill 2 or 3 shows with.
I think we love horror stories. We'd love to hear 1 or 2. But Lisa, I want to go over to you for a second, because when I think of creative, you are definitely one of the most creative people I've ever met or worked with. You really are a creative genius. Do you see creativity and accounting going together?
Well, when it comes to the books, I can tell you right now that I would never go to the cheapest resource, because you get what you don't pay for too many times to count. You know, I'm in a business where I work in a home office. There are loopholes or financial changes to the tax laws that I will never even want to understand. So, of course, I would rely on a firm or an individual consultant who was abreast of the current laws, any changes that were really relevant to me, that maximized my take home and still let me sleep at night. Because I mean, I need to sleep at night, so I have to be honest. I would never take advantage of loopholes that were illegal. That's wrong. So I would want to work with a company that knew how to navigate all those ins and outs of creativity. I don't think creativity implies pulling stunts. I think it means understanding the nuances of the tax laws as it applies to each individual's scenario. They're always different.
I love that. I love that.
I'd
So,
like to ask Lisa, what was it you feel you learned from that time we spent at Alloy Silverstein with Profit last year about the people who work for Ren, for the firm, and how Ren relates to them?
Well, there are a lot of working parts to any service at all. We met some really interesting individuals. In fact, I know, Ren, you talk about expanding into other fields. And I remember the one woman, I don't recall her name, who spoke up. I said, my goodness, she'd be great in sales. She was very engaging. So it was easy to identify very diverse personalities that would collaboratively make your business strong. They're not all relying on you, Ren, despite that your organization has great legacy for decades.
Something that I'm hearing from this conversation is it really matters who you put your trust in. And I think what comes up for me when I hear the term creativity, it can also be perspective. So I want to know that when I'm working with someone, that they have maybe a unique perspective in that they want the best for me, but they want to follow what the rules and regulations are. And so I think sometimes we see people who are touting services that they have, and they're interpreting it whatever way they want. And it's sort of like buyer beware. And then we have to actually do extra work. So Ren, you and your organization are the ones to go to. You are following to the letter what the IRS code is and keeping up with it. Can you talk to us, Ren, about the fact that there are always changes and updates and enhancements and new regulations that are being passed? How do you and your team stay abreast of that?
Well, a lot of clients will ask us, or people will ask us about proposed tax changes. I tend not to, I remember back in, I think, 5th grade when we did civics, how a bill becomes a law. I don't really pay much attention to the proposed bills until they actually sign into a law. That's when I have to really dig in and drill down to see what was passed and what was signed. At that point in time, we dissect the bill. We either segregate it in that each person takes a part of the law and gets knowledge on it. We attend CPE courses, and that's when we try to manipulate the law within the code so that we can take advantage of minimize the taxes. All right. So a lot of times the proposals, what happens, I remember when Obamacare passed, we went to bed saying that it was not going to pass, and we woke up the next morning with Obamacare. That was just, you never know what's going to happen in Washington. So we don't really dissect the bills until they become laws. All right.
Yeah, and you've been great at pivoting on those events when they've taken place, and that's one of the reasons why, after all these years, you're still my accountant. And it is a great firm with great financial services. But I really want to. I'm kind of probing at this. You've got a couple of teams in your organization: client advisory services and your sales and marketing team. That's not accounting. That's a creative. Those are what does my customer need, beyond the fact that we can handle their cash. And I'd like to know how that occurs to you and how you develop that.
Well, what I think my superpower is taking what other industries do and try to retool that for my industry and look to see what other people are doing within automobile industry or whatever and retool it. One of the things that we've done since 2009, I had a practice development person who is not associated as a CPA because I thought we're doing sales. Let's try to do sales. I fell flat on my face at that point in time. repivoted 2 or 3 years later. And for the last year, I've had Angela Vente doing work for me, doing practice development and the director of practice growth. And we've really bunkered in over the last 8 years where I know we're doing it right because all my competitors now have their own practice development person. And we were the first person back in 2009, 2007 to have a practice development person. And we have a marketing person. Adrian's been with me for almost, actually 20 years. She started as a 17-year-old that needed a job Xeroxing to pay for her car insurance. And we developed her. We knew she would stay in the area. We knew she would take marketing down the line. And I knew if I went to my partners and told them I needed to hire somebody for marketing, they would have laughed me out of the room. But when Adrian was a junior in college, we offered her a full-time job because my partners didn't want her to leave, because we kind of went through the back door to get a marketing person. And now we have 4 people that are just doing marketing for us, social media and all kinds of things. It's a little different. So.
And you're offering that as a service now for your other clients who might need help in that area.
Yeah. So what's happened is we've developed marketing program over the last 20 years since Adrian's been here. And when I first offered her a job, I told her we were going to save jobs, and that was the first job we were going to save was hers, because we had to make it successful. All right. And over the years, she instructed me on what the difference was from a marketing person and a practice development person, and educated me on what a marketing person was. And for the last 20 years, I've said, we can do this for clients. We can do this for clients. And what happened was last June, Ernst & Young, I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and Ernst & Young started their own marketing company. And I was in the lobby reading the Wall Street Journal and said, I told you so. And I think I started the new entity the next day. We rolled it out officially as of January 1st this year. So we feel that we've been doing marketing for 20 years. We see a lot of clients spending money on marketing and social media, but they don't really know what they're spending money on and what the results are. So we thought we would do it like a CPA firm and make sure they know what the numbers are and do it, take care of the client, make sure you're doing it right.
That's great.
Ren, thank you. A question that comes up for me, given that we have business owners who are watching our show right now, is when is it that the business owner needs to move from, I'm doing it myself, to I need to hire an expert?
Well, I think they should have an expert from the beginning, but the way to describe it is when you start a business, Al, when you start a business, you are usually doing the checks yourself, you're doing the books yourself, you're doing everything yourself. But as time goes on and you get busier to doing the actual work of what your business is, whether it's computer consulting, whatever, what happens is that takes a back seat, and you don't pay that attention because you're out there trying to grow your business. At that point in time, it's time to hand it off to somebody who handles it professionally. And there's enough technology out there that you can do it efficiently. And what you want to do is you don't want somebody to be a historian. You want somebody to be a forecaster and help you grow your business. The idea is to have not find out what you're doing last year. It's finding out, coming in the morning, looking at a dashboard, finding out what you did yesterday and have current numbers so that you can have information that will allow you to make today's decisions, not something you needed to decide 6 months ago.
That's great. I mean, that is something I've always been able to count on Ren and his team for, more than just the line items in an Excel spreadsheet. They helped me put a picture together of where my business is headed, and it's really been invaluable. And the advice that I've gotten from them has really made quite a difference. And it kind of pivots us to a subject that I wanted to explore with Ren. He's always been helpful in guiding me to seeing the whole field, and that is actually the title of a blog he just started. And seeing the whole field. Where did that come from, Ren, and what were you thinking?
Well, what I was thinking was I wanted to give back a little bit. I wanted to say some things that I don't feel the office was the appropriate place to say them. I wanted to help students because I really believe I've exceeded all expectations of every educator who evaluated me. I'll just put it that way. Where I've exceeded some of my expectations. Every day I come into work thinking I'm very lucky to be where I am because of Marvin Alloy and Ray Silverstein. So I wanted to give back, and that's my way to give back, because there's a lot of people a lot of students that come in and they think that they've achieved everything they could achieve when they've got their job right out of college, but that's just the beginning, and how to get them the information they need to succeed in life and to succeed in this profession. And then also bring things out that there's clients out there that do go to the low cost providers. So they have to realize in a indirect way what they are getting for when they go to somebody that's charging them $500 compared to $2,500, and that they have to be educated so that they make a good decision. Because one of the nicest things about my job is I don't just help the client, I help generations. So there's something to be said when a client comes in and has an idea to start a business like Al. But I've been associated with Al. His kids were in diapers when I met them. His kids have kids in diapers now. So I've helped generations because I help the one person that comes into the office. That's what I enjoy out of my profession. And the blog allows me to put something down that could help multiple generations.
Thank you,
That's
Ren.
great.
You just mentioned about $500 engagement versus a $2,500 engagement. And you also talked about someone who's a historian versus someone who's actually helping you plan for the future. So I'd love for you to just dive in for people out there listening and think, you know what, I just saw a commercial on TV and it's only $500. I'm going to drive over to my local shopping center and I'm going to go and use those people. What are you getting for $2,500 or whatever the fee might be, as opposed to just an order taker checking boxes and filing returns?
So there's a difference. There's what I call compliance work and advisory work. Compliance work is somebody does a return based on the information you give them without any concern whether it's right or wrong. We had a potential client about a year ago came in, asked us to do the work. We told them what the price was going to be. They went to the low cost provider that was $500 a year ago. It was a professional practice, and what happened was the low cost provider started to ghost them. So they contacted us. We asked to see last year's return, and when we looked at last year's return, she had a payment plan, complained about a few things, but I looked at the return, and what the provider did was they took whatever they had in QuickBooks and they prepared the returns for. And she had about $25,000 due. When I looked at the return and I looked at the QuickBooks, what I noticed was she bought a practice from a third party, but the low cost provider did not set up the practice. We ended up fixing it. And the difference is over the next 15 years, she would have overpaid her taxes about $125,000.
Wow.
All right? Because the person doing compliance work is just putting whatever they give them into the box. Another instance where Angela brought in a return that was a vineyard, where we looked at the return, and within 2 minutes, I said, we tell the story, 30,000, 30,000, 30,000. The provider did not take the domestic producer's credit deduction, and the two shareholders each paid $30,000 too much in taxes for 3 years. We were able to get them $90,000 back each over those 3-year period. And then the bad news was that deduction was available for about 10 to 15 years, were years that were closed. And they probably overpaid their tax bill by about $1 million. All right, which they weren't able to get back. So that's money that they could have put into business, could have done something else. And when they approached the other preparer, the preparer said they didn't even know that a deduction existed.
That's creative accounting.
So it's not creative accounting. It's just know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And we spend a ton of time, 40 hours plus. I probably take 100 to 125 continuing professional education credits in any given year that others may not take. They may take whatever's required. But the idea is you have to know what is available and have to take advantage of that when you can.
And to be responsive. I know you made a case for this other client got ghosted.
Right.
Responsiveness is an essential feature of any professional that you hire. If they're not answering your calls, if they're not responding to your questions, well, then you're in a real pickle. And I can tell you, whether it's an attorney or an accounting firm or any professional service for that matter, if they are not responding to your requests, then it is essential that the client move on.
So we have what we call our client bill of rights. And it's simple thing like I have 61 people that work for me. So if you ask the 61 people, what is the appropriate time for you to call back a client, you're going to get 61 different answers. So what we try to do here through our marketing or practice development people is quantify that. My clients know they're going to get a call back by 10 o'clock the next day. My staff know they're responsible to call back by 10 o'clock the next day. So that you have to, part of the job of being a managing partner is to herd cats. You got 61 people going in 61 different directions. So at times you have to step in and say, here's what the expectations are, and these are what you're going to be graded on in reviews so that everybody has the same scorecard. That's kind of like seeing the whole field out. I'll put it that way.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
Great. And how do you...
It's a really important question for our viewing audience. Would you please make the distinction between practice development and marketing?
Practice development is going out, finding people that have a need and developing them as clients. Marketing is the overall theme of everything we present to the public. Our colors, our logo, our social media presence. It's a warm feel of everything we do. And what happens is it generates an interest through third parties of what is communicated, how we're going to handle our business. And practice development is finding it and mining it. I have a post coming up where I say, tax season is really our harvest season. During the year, we plow the fields, we plant the seeds, we water the crops. This is something a client once told me from Ireland. And then tax season is nothing other than harvest. It's the efforts that we make for 8.5 months before that, 9 months before that. And during tax season, you're really harvesting your crop as if we're farmers. So marketing is the overall image of what the firm is and what we do, our logo, our colors, everything. But practice development is putting the right people in the seats to meet the right clients.
We really appreciate you taking time out of harvest season too for us, because you're right in the middle of tax season now. And I have to give you a lot of credit for being able to pull time together for this. I know you work from 3 in the morning until maybe midnight during tax season, and
not that much, but I have really good people working for me. I have a lot actually working with me. We have excellent people here. This is what we signed up for, so nobody complains. This is a fun time of year. We have, I think, 20 days left, about 19% of the time left, but we have about 50% of the tax returns left.
Right.
Ren,
Cool.
you talked about continuous education, which I'm a big advocate for as well. And we all know that AI is here and helping to offload a lot of task-related things. Is there a use or application of AI in creative accounting, or where is AI in the intersection of accounting?
We're trying to figure that out. We just started an AI committee that I am chairing. I say this in jest, it's not part of our technology committee. What we're trying to do is see what we can use it for, what repetitive task we could do to save time so that we could have the same number of people service more clients. We're trying to use AI as a leverage. AI is actually helping me with my blog. In putting my thoughts together and helping me speed up the process. Still my thoughts, still my ideas, still my everything, but it might not be my punctuation marks. That's the way I look at it.
That's a great way to look at it too, because AI is kind of a magnifier. It's not a replacement for people. It's something that expands people. And if you use it that way, then you get really interesting and terrific results from it. But before I know we're coming up on the end of the program, there's something else you do in your firm that I think is unique, that I definitely think is worth sharing with everybody. You're actively involved in several charitable efforts.
Yes.
I mean, I see that all the time. You're very busy. Maybe you can talk about that, and also what you do with Rutgers, your alma mater.
So with regard to our charity, it started a long time ago. We used to do one adoptive family a year, and the person who handled for us left, and we needed a family. So we went to an organization, Catholic Partnership Schools, and asked them for a family so we could adopt them as a firm. And what happened was, originally they came to us and asked us for 5 people, 5 families. And I went to my staff, asked them what they thought. Everybody was concerned that 5 families were a little too much. And I said, look, the worst case scenario is we'll buy gifts ourselves. I'll take care of it. So we adopted 5 families. We got the list what these kids wanted for Christmas. And the list for Christmas really, it was the saddest thing I ever saw. It wasn't a Christmas list. It was a survival list where people wanted pencils, foods, whatever. So I then went to social media, posted something on Facebook, you probably still can find it, about this list. And what happened was my office phone, my cell phone, my house phone, everything blew up. And with these 5 families, a bunch of our clients went and asked to help. And we ended up filling up a gymnasium full of this 5 families. From there, it grew to the next year to 10 families. And now we adopt about 120 kids and number of families every year with our clients for Christmas and the holidays. It's really a fun time of year here in December. In November and December. I actually have to hire somebody to help us with the program for that period of time. And we also have a program called Alloy Cares, where we originally started with us doing one day that I picked the organization, and we would go out as a firm to do some volunteer work. And then I thought, who the hell am I to pick what the organization is? We'll still do it once a year. But what I do is I allow every one of my employees to do, I believe it's about 5 or 6 days a year, where they can go volunteer of the organization of their choice and spend a day at that organization helping them. So I have 60 people doing 6 days each in the South Jersey area that allows them to do whatever they want to do for the organization they want to do it for. And that allows my people to have more of a touchy-feely part in the South Jersey area and actually help people. All right, and that's a big part of our program. right?
That is great. I'm looking at Lisa now, and I know that that lights you up, doesn't it? Talk about that a little bit. I mean, isn't that great?
Listen, if we are doing well, I think it's privileged if we can share. I mean, really, how much money does somebody really need to have a good life? I think there's a point at which I believe it's almost a responsibility to share it. So when I hear of people doing things like this, I just makes my heart happy.
Well, Lisa, what you don't know about me is my dad died when I was 9. All right, so I'm the oldest. So I'm a CPA because my dad died in January. In May, I had to come up with the money for the Mother's Day present. So I've been coming up with money my whole life. So that's, you got to make lemonade out of lemons. All right, so that's part one. But I was always that family that needed help. All right, we didn't advertise that, but I know what it's like to be that family, because things always happen to somebody else unless you're sitting in my chair, because I'm always the guy that it happens to. So I really believe helping people is really important, and giving back is really important, because like I said earlier, I think I've exceeded every every teacher I had or guidance counselor's expectations of where I was going to end up, because I just show up every day and work like I did when I was 21 years old. So I think it's really important to give back to the community. Our staff love the charity work, and I'm an easy call when somebody needs help.
That's great. Making the world a better place was something I think you and your team communicated clearly in the work that Lisa and I did with you last year. And it's a great organization, a great firm, and definitely worth to get to know these people. They're wonderful people, all of them.
All right, we are actually showing your website right now. So Ren, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who would you like to reach out?
If they can call me at the office, 856-667-4100. I answer all my calls. You'll get a call back if you call. And it's really small, closely held businesses that need help, that we can help people.
Fantastic. If you could please drop your phone number in the chat, that would be great. And then we also have your blog here, Seeing the Whole Field. Tell us more about this and who would be interested in following this.
I think any small business would be helpful for how to avoid making mistakes that they have. I take a lot of heat because if you get an email from me, I use Comic Sans 14. So I actually have a post in here telling you why I use Comic Sans 14. There's people that think I've been hacked because I use Comic Sans 14. I've been using that for a long time. I'm probably just a 9-year-old at heart. But I also think it's not only for business people, it's also for students wanting to work public accounting, because there's things that I intend to put in there that allows them to get a job. We just hired somebody asked how they should get a job at entry-level thing, and I told them to go old school, to mail it to the firms or actually drop it off to the front desk, your resume, instead of emailing it. And one of the girls in the class I was presenting to said, what time is somebody going to be at your office tonight? And I said, why? She goes, I'm going to drop my resume off. I said, you don't need to. Just send me an email that says you told me not to drop this off. She had the job at that moment, but I made her come in a couple of days later to do an interview. She's a junior at Rutgers. She's working there now, and she's got a full-time job in public accounting because she just actually listened to what I said. All right. So
That's great.
We could go down a whole path on listening. I love it. We have your phone number up on the screen, which is 1-856-667-4100. Ren, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ren.
All right, Al and Lisa, tell our audience a little bit more about ProFit for Teams and what it is that you do and who you help.
Go ahead, Al.
Lisa, you go. Oh, you want me to do it?
All right.
Listen, you're going to speak from the heart. You're the woman. So
we have history. So we've worked together in a number of different approaches, I think, in areas of focus. But we've we've always been in and around business. So we understand people, the mechanics of business, getting the word out. And we've been self-employed too, which puts a whole different spin on employment. But we are able to draw from each of our respective talents and then collaborate in a way, because we were always observing the dynamics between people. And a company with good people can work really well, but if their marketing is off, it doesn't matter. Or a company that markets well, but their people are not working well, same disaster, just different consequence or different causes. So we developed this this collaborative effort called ProFit for Teams, which identifies the unique abilities of each individual on a team and how they blend, so that the big question, the incorporating question, is so that they are doing their best work on their best day. That's it. When the people in an organization change, the dynamics change. And we compare that to a cake. You know, too much flour and you get a dry cake. Too much oil and it's greasy. So when a team is assembled, they need to understand how they work together best, so that whatever their task in any industry is accomplished to the best it possibly can be, based on the dynamics and collaborative skills of those individuals who comprise it.
That's great. You know, yeah, Dr. JACALYN, just to add a little bit to that, I asked Copilot, which is my AI. I know we're asking a lot of questions these days of a lot of people about artificial intelligence. And it happens I use Copilot because on our team at ProFit for Teams, my job is technology, software development, solutions creation. I mean, I'm the techie guy, and Lisa is the person with a heart. And when I ask Copilot to describe us, that's exactly how he describes us. He said the value of the program is that it's based on science and it has a scientific kind of a frame to it, but it's got a heart inside of it. And I'm the frame and the science part of it. And Lisa is the heart and believe me, if you want to put your best foot forward, Lisa is the person who can help you do that. So it's been a great partnership, and I think we're getting a great result from it.
Yeah.
Well, knowing the two of you as I have since, I don't know, 2018 or 2019, I love to see that you are doing this together and you are out there helping people. You both are gifted and talented in so many ways. So together, it's just 100%. So if people have not contacted you as of yet, what are they thinking? What is the best way for people to contact the two of you, and who's a good client?
Well, I think our best clients are project managers or managers, middle managers, let's say, within organizations that are looking to develop the people that report to them, or business owners, people that are looking for a solution that fully engages their people in the problems they're trying to solve to make the world a better place. Really, being part of that mission is one of the things that excites both Lisa and me on a regular basis to do what we do. So we're looking for people that have teams that they're trying to fix in some cases, or just bring to that next level that everybody says they're looking for, where the key to getting to that next level is in their people. Our job is to turn that key and unlock it. And that's what we do with ProFit for Teams.
And we make the distinction that this is not an entertainment style team building initiative. In other words, we're not building bikes for charity, which is a wonderful endeavor. But this is really an exploration of the people, the way they relate, drawing from them their natural assets, capitalizing on them, all within the context of the job that team is expected to do. This is not meant for giant departments, because a team is really, anywhere from 5 to 10 people-ish. It can be applied to larger organizations, but that's when we get into culture and branding. This is really meant for teams with a specific purpose who want to, like Al said, either correct a problem, prevent one that's brewing, or elevate their presence in their marketplace to a level that they have yet not achieved.
Great. And I can be reached at 212-480-3730, or you can email me at al@pro-fitforteams.com. And Lisa is Lisa at pro-fitforteams.com. So,
of course, I'm going to ask you to drop it into the chat because no one is going to be able to miraculously remember it that quickly.
Right now.
So put it in there. Well, thank you both for joining today. And the contact details are in the show notes. And we look forward to seeing you for another episode very soon. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. JACALYN.
Bye for now. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today for another episode. If this is your first time with us, welcome. And if you're not aware, we have over 60 shows in the archives of our shows. Some are live and some are grandfathered in, but you can find out more. We're broadcasting on many different destinations, and then this show will be shared with our distributor as well. But we'd love for you to go over and join our team, our community on USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing over 100,000 subscribers. What a big number. And Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, which we started a couple of years ago. And we've got beautiful content there. And we look forward to hearing what you have to share. If you want to be a guest, go to our website, which is in the show notes, usaglobaltv.com, and just look for book your session. All right, we are signing off for now. And this advertisement we're going to run next is really near and dear to my heart. If you or anyone in your family, anyone you know, is suffering with memory loss or dementia or Alzheimer's. My mother had dementia and I was her primary caregiver for over 3 years. It's a tough road. And of course, we lost her, unfortunately, but I certainly learned a lot about the journey. And that's in part and parcel to Tracy Cram Perkins and her book, which is Dementia Home Care Before, During, and After. And she also has a TV show by the same name here, which is Dementia Home Care Before, During, and After. Take a look at this and please do purchase a copy of her book. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.